Hello everyone, welcome to Aptera Owners Club. This will be a quickie. I just saw a news report about Arcimoto opening its new ramp facility. And as you know, I've covered Arcimoto before. Arcimoto is a three-wheeled, what they call a fun utility vehicle. It's basically sort of an enclosed motorcycle. And they're a publicly traded company. They're kind of a startup. And they have some similarities with Aptera in being a startup, being a three-wheeled vehicle, being a vehicle that they are wanting to promote sustainability and efficiency and using the right size vehicle for the job. Because most of the time, most of the time people take vehicles is just one or two people. So it's something that I follow peripherally because I think that Aptera can learn from many of their mistakes, and their ramp up has been extremely slow. And they opened their 250,000 square feet manufacturing facility yesterday, and that was February 22, 2022. And they had a big event and they had a presentation. So I wanted to kind of go through the presentation with you guys and just give you some highlights. This was the first highlight. They were talking about their ramp up. So they made their alpha vehicle in 2016, and it took 3 years, almost 3 years from their, little over 3 years actually, from their alpha vehicle to their first commercial delivery vehicle in 2019. And in 2019, they delivered about 50 vehicles. And then in 2020, they delivered another 90. So it became like 150 vehicles basically total. So these are cumulative. So this is not the number so if you say cumulative, this is not the number they delivered in 2020. This is the number they delivered in 2020 plus 2019. And then in 2021, this bar represents 2021 deliveries, 2020 deliveries, and 2019 deliveries. So looks like they added an additional maybe 300 vehicles. So they made triple the number of vehicles in 2021. So anyways, in their first 3 years of production, they've delivered a total of close to 500 vehicles. So hopefully Aptera ramps up much faster than this, because if at this rate, Aptera is going to take forever to get through their 18,000 reservations. If they deliver 50 the first year, 100 the second year, and like 300 the third year. And so there's a total of 500 deliveries. So I hope Aptera ramps up much faster than this, or else we're all in for a very long wait. One of their mistakes they made is they did not get manufacturing help early on. They got help from Sandy Munro last year. So Sandy Munro, I think, is involved in the opening of this new ramp facility that they just opened yesterday. And so hopefully we'll see them ramp up quickly this year. And if they ramp up quickly this year, I think that bodes well for Aptera, because Aptera got Sandy Munro involved very early, and they got him involved pretty late. And so hopefully this represents their production problems before they got some professional help. And if we see a large ramp up in 2022, we'll know that professional help was worth it. Then the other interesting thing that they mentioned is there's this company called Faction Technologies, which is based out of San Francisco, and what they're doing is they're trying to make these vehicles that are driverless and will deliver product to you. And what they'll do is they're kind of partially automated and partially remote controlled. And the idea is that they'll have like grocery delivery or food delivery or whatever, and they can kind of semi-autonomously drive there. And when they need help, there'll be someone who can kind of remote control drive it to your house. It was very interesting. I looked at their website, and then they have this funny looking vehicle, which is not an actual vehicle, it's a computer render. And it looks like they have partnered both with Electromechanica Solo and with Aptera. So they're providing the kind of the tech driverless technology, and Electromechanical Solo and Arcimoto are providing the actual physical platform. And so they have two technologies that are working on. One is package delivery and food delivery, and the other is this ride on demand, where you call a vehicle and the vehicle will drive to you without a driver, because it will be remotely driven to you, and then you just hop in and you drive it from there. And then after you hop out, then the company will find the next passenger slash driver. So that was very interesting that Arcimoto is involved with that. I don't think that this makes sense for Aptera. This is more of a, for kind of an urban thing. Aptera is kind of wide and not as nimble in an urban environment. I don't know, maybe they could get involved for kind of longer distance deliveries, because Aptera's main advantage is more space and more range. And then the last thing is they had this video of this this vehicle that it's basically a three-wheeled e-bike, which they're supposedly you can charge it by pedaling, which is honestly one of the silliest ideas I've ever heard of, because an average person can probably comfortably output about 100 watts. And so if you sat on this thing and pedaled for about at 100 watts, which is a decent amount of work, 100 watts for an hour, you would have generated 0.1 kilowatt hours into this machine. And I pay Southern California Edison rates, which are some of the highest electricity rates in the country, and 0.1 kilowatt hours would cost 3 cents. So I don't see too many people sitting on this thing for an hour just so they can save 3 cents of electricity. I guess if you want to do it for exercise reasons, that makes sense. But also, I'm like, why would anyone get this thing when an e-bike is just better in every way? Unless, I guess, you don't know how to ride a bike, and so you need a three-wheeler. I mean, this like leaning, tilting thing is kind of cool, but I don't see the use case scenario of this vehicle over a regular e-bike. But anyways, they were talking it up like it was something revolutionary. But anyway, the most important thing is I noticed that their ramp up has been extremely slow. Last time I heard from them, I knew that they had delivered about 150 vehicles at the end of 2020. I did not know how many they had delivered in 2021. I was hoping for a huge spike up in here, but that did not happen. And so I'm hoping for 2022 for a huge spike up for them because of the Sandy Munro involvement. And I'm really hoping that Aptera's ramp up is much, much, much faster than this.